Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you how to use the Zulip app more effectively by using the keyboard more aggressively. And I think people overrate how difficult it is to learn not only keyboard shortcuts but also keyboard navigation. So I'm going to try to demonstrate kind of how my mind processes it and how I'm able to remember certain things. There is documentation on the keyboard shortcuts. In the first paragraph, there it says everything in Zulip can be done with the mouse, but mastering a few keyboard shortcuts will change your experience of the app. And I agree with that 100%. In case you're curious how I found this documentation, um, there's this little keyboard icon down at the bottom here. And of course, I could click on that, but the little title tip right above my cursor has that little question mark in the square. And question mark is a pretty mnemonic keyboard or keystroke for remembering how to get help. So I'm going to ask for help. And here I am. And I can, obviously arrow up through the help. And here it tells me some basic things to do. For example, the very first thing that it tells me is how to reply to a message. So I'm going to hit escape to get out of this menu, and that's a pretty standard thing that you do in other applications. And you'll notice here that the current message that is selected with this little blue line was written by a human named Human, and I've already forgotten what the way to reply to a message is, so I'm going to hit question mark again. And I can see I can do either enter or R. So I hit escape. And I think R is mnemonic because it means reply, but generally what I do is I just hit enter. And now I'm responding to this thread. That's great. But and I hit escape to get out of the compose box. The thing that I find most powerful when viewing messages doesn't require any memorization at all. It's just to use the arrows. So I'm going down arrow, down arrow, down arrow, down arrow, up arrow, up arrow, page up, page up, page up, page up, page down, page down, page down. And then, especially I think if you're a Windows users, end is super intuitive to go to the end of a topic. And then home should take me to the beginning of the topic, and it does. And incidentally, let's say that by the way, I scroll with the mouse all the time too. Usually I use the keyboard for kind of finer grain control, but then I'll do the mouse if I'm scanning. But notice as I'm scanning, you get this little translucent little down arrow, kind of bluish purple. I guess it's more blue. It tells you that the end key accomplishes the same thing as clicking. Now I'm going to click here. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit home again to take me to the very top of the menu. Okay, and I remember that now that, and let me scroll a little bit here. I hover over. Now I'm not going to hit the mouse. I actually am going to hit the keyboard. I hit end, and boom, I'm at the end. So if you can just master that habit, I think you'll find things a lot more powerful. So like when I'm in a stream, I go down, down, down. I see something that's interesting, and then I hit enter, and boom, I'm in the compose box. So let's say I just start typing something about TypeScript, and I realize that what I just typed is total gibberish. The way that you get out of almost anything in the Zulip app is you hit escape. So I hit escape. Now notice that it gave me that tooltip. Let me do it again. I'll type some gibberish, hit escape, and see that tooltip right there? It shows up very briefly. That's pointing me at drafts. It's telling me that gibberish that I typed, if I want to resurrect it for some reason, it's in my drafts folder. Now here's the cool thing. I could just click here on drafts But when I hover, it tells me, it's kind of hard. I can't point at the tooltip with the mouse. I can point with my hand, but you can't really see where I'm pointing at. But if I hover over drafts, it's telling me that the hotkey to get into the drafts menu is D. So I'm going to try that. I hit D, and then boom, I'm in drafts. And again, arrow keys, very intuitive. Down, 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 and you're good to go. And now I hit escape to exit the menu. Very common paradigm. So there's a certain number of keys. Most Zulip keys attempt to be mnemonic. It's hard when you only have 26 letters in the alphabet. But for example, if you look at all messages, that's A. If you look at drafts, that's D. I'm hitting T now, which is not super intuitive. It stands for topics, even though what it really does is take you to recent conversations. But you can see that it does take me to one of the topics that I had participated in. And the reason I'm going there is to show you another very mnemonic key. So I'm going to hit enter to select that that's the thread I want to be in. And I'm going to look for some message that I sent earlier. Okay, suppose I want to edit. I said, no, we should fix that. And maybe like I decided later that no, we don't need to fix that. If I'm using the mouse, actually, let me pick a more recent example. I can't edit that because it's been too recent. But let's say I'm using the mouse and I want to edit. Wait, let me find something I participated in more recently. Here we go. Okay. So because I recently sent this, I can click on this pencil to edit the message. But if I hover over it, it's telling me edit message E. So E is the key. So that's what I'm going to hit. I hit E. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a smiley. So I'm going to hit colon to start the emoji and type SM, smile, and then hit enter. Oops, and then hit control enter. And that sends the message for me. And I'm going to like my own message. And again, the key for that is colon. So colon, you just kind of have to associate with emojis. But the reason you think about colons with emojis is, let me go into the compose box. If you type a smiley, that's like the most common emoji, starts with a colon. So that's how you remember. The colons are for reactions. So I'm going to type colon here. And again, I'm just going to use the arrow key, and I'm going to give myself, I'm going to give that message the ta-da. I hit enter. Simple as that. And boom. So I want to reinforce, let's see, let me go to my notes real quick. So I told you about A, D, and E, and R. Let me show you N. So you'll notice down here that there is this unread counter, which means I have an unread message in front end. Normally when you go into Zulip, you have a lot more unread messages, but I read a lot of my messages this morning. But I want to go to my next unread message, so I hit the N key. And boom, I'm right there. You'll notice that it automatically took me to the topic, and it removed that unread counter that used to be there before. And again, if I want to reply here, I just hit enter. Or if you prefer, you can go into here and oh, actually, I'm wrong about that. Okay, never mind. You always have the mouse option to click, but I've trained myself to hit enter. So if I'm here, I hit enter and boom, hit escape to close it. By the way, when I went into this menu here, I clicked on it, but notice that the message actions has the hotkey of I. Now that's not super intuitive unless you just sort of remember that this is like an interactive menu. This one I just kind of had to get into muscle memory. But here I am. Let me go to the last message and let me hit I. I can arrow. Let me add an emoji reaction real quick. I'll do a thumbs up. Am I thumbs up in something? Yeah, sure. And then again, if I hit I get into this menu, and notice that the menu is teaching me all these new hotkeys. So mark as unread from here is the U key. So let me try that. So if I go U, I think it's uppercase U actually. That might be a little misleading. Yep, okay. So I hit uppercase Shift U, and now it tells me that that message is marked as unread. Now here, I'm just going to mark it as read with the mouse. I don't know an easy way to dismiss that dialog. Let me see if I'm leaving out anything major. I'm not intending for this to be an exhaustive example of all the hotkeys, but I'm kind of showing you the best way to learn them. I think what I'm going to close with here is just reinforce the notion that you want to look at these tooltips to find quicker ways to do things. If I hover over streams, if I hover over streams, it tells me about the Q tooltip, or it tells me about the Q hotkey in the tooltip. So now if I come back out and hit Q, I'm immediately able to filter on streams. And again, to dismiss almost anything in Zulip, escape, escape. Now I'm back with my little blue line focus in the message pane. If I hover over this person, I see that little u is for the user card. If I hover over this again, I see that I is for that interactive menu. If I hover over the little emoji, you can see that colon is the key to add an emoji reaction. I hover over the star, tells me that I can star this message with Control S. If I hover over this little mute icon, it tells me Shift M would allow me to mute this topic so that I don't have to ever see messages from this again. And if I hover over the gear menu, sure enough, that key starts with G. Show you that real quick. I hit G. I'm in the menu. Again, just use the arrows. Hit enter. And then down, down, up, up. It's a little faint, but you can see that I'm moving through the various panels here. And then again, to dismiss it, escape. So I'll stop there. I think you get the idea. This is how I learn hotkeys. And when I forget hotkeys, this is how I rediscover how to find them. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for listening. Bye.